Hello students, today we will continue with the chapter on current electricity. The different chapters, different topics that we have discussed in the previous lectures, Kirchhoff's laws, Wheatstone's bridge experiments, all this we have completed, and today we will be focusing on potentiometer experiments. Now we will try to understand what is a potentiometer, and we will compare it with voltmeter, and we will try to understand what is a potentiometer. Now, previous lower classes, we have used a voltmeter for measuring the voltage or the potential difference. In order to measure the potential difference, we used to use a voltmeter. Now, when we come to a potentiometer, see the apparatus here in the diagram. You can see a board, a wooden board over which metallic strips are connected on both ends, and you can see wires connected from the one strip to the other strip till the end, and you can see so many wires connected. Each wire is of 1 meter long, and you can see a meter scale connected attached to the wooden board here, and the starting point of the wire is marked as A, and the end point of the potentiometer wire is marked as B. In all the circuit connections, A and B will be marked as the starting and the ending point of the potentiometer. Now here you can see almost 10 wires, means one wire is of 1 meter long. Like this, there is 10 meters of wires here connected. Now in a potentiometer, there can be 4 meters, 6 meters, 8 meters or 10 meter wire connected between the points A and B. Depending on the length of the potentiometer wire, the potentiometer will be more sensitive and more accurate if the number of wires is, if the length of the wire is more. If it is 4 meter, it will be less accurate than a 10 meter wire. Now, potentiometer is used for measuring the potential difference as well as to measure the EMF. Now, when you are using a voltmeter for measuring the potential difference, it will be drawing certain amount of current from the circuit. Now, in order to avoid this drawing of current from the circuit, a voltmeter must have an infinite resistance. You know, practically it is impossible to have an infinite resistance for a voltmeter. But in a potentiometer, it is also used for measuring the potential difference and also EMF. Potentiometer does not draw any current from the circuit. Therefore, a potentiometer will be acting as an ideal voltmeter, which is having infinite resistance. And a voltmeter cannot be used for measuring the EMF because it draws some current from the circuit. We will move further to the principle of potentiometer. Now, as I have already told you, you have a potentiometer wire which is starting from the point A to the point B. So, when I am drawing a circuit diagram, normally any electrical component of the circuit has got a symbol that is used while drawing a circuit. So this wire which is shown represents a potentiometer in the circuit. See, this long wire and long line and a small line, this represents a cell. In the same way, this represents a potentiometer. The point A represents the starting point and B represents the end point of the potentiometer wire. This is A and this is B. You cannot show so many wires here, so it is simply you show like this, which represents a potentiometer. Now we will move further to the explanation of the principle. Now you are considering the length of the potentiometer wire to be equal to L. Capital L represents the length of the wire between A and B. It can be 4 meters, 6 meters, 8 meters or 10 meters depending on the potentiometer that you are using. Now the total resistance of this wire is equal to capital R. The total resistance of the wire is equal to capital R. Now the small r represents the internal resistance of the cell. Here a cell is connected across the points A and B, which will produce a current flowing through the wire A and B. Between A and B, a current will be flowing. So the amount of current flowing through the wire is given by the expression according to Ohm's law will be equal to I is equal to E divided by R plus R. That this represents the total resistance. Capital R represents the resistance of the potentiometer wire and small r represents the internal resistance of the cell. Now the potential drop across A and B will be equal to, which is represented as VAB, which is equal to I into R. These concepts we have already studied in the 11th standard current electricity chapter. So that is the basics, that is the Ohm's law, which says that the potential difference is equal to I into R. Now substituting the value of I from the previous equation, you get the expression potential drop from A to B is equal to, that is VAB is equal to E into R divided by R plus R. Now this is the potential drop throughout the length of the capital L, length of the wire. Now the potential drop per unit length of the wire will be VAB divided by the total length. That means it is the potential drop per unit length, which is represented as VAB by L, which is equal to ER divided by R plus R divided by L. So that will be the potential drop per unit length. Now this quantity, potential difference per unit length of the wire, is equal to VAB divided by L, which is a constant, which is known as the potential gradient of the potentiometer. This is a constant for a given potentiometer. Now you consider a point C on the potentiometer wire. So the distance between A and C is equal to L. Now the potential drop from A to C will be equal to K into L. K is the potential gradient, or it is the potential difference per unit length of the wire. So the potential drop from A to C will be equal to K into L. Or you can say that potential difference between A and C is proportional to L. Means if I am finding out the potential drop between, suppose I take another point D here, and the length of the wire from A to D is equal to some another value L1, then potential drop from A to that point D will be equal to VAC, or instead of VAC it will be V of AD, that is wire from A to D. This is just an imaginary point I am mentioning, will be proportional to the length of the wire from A to D. This is the principle of potentiometer. So that means the potential difference between any two points of the potentiometer wire is directly proportional to the length of the wire between that two points. That is the principle of potentiometer. So, I hope you have understood the principle of potentiometer. Potential difference between any 2 points of the potentiometer wire is directly proportional to the length of the wire between that 2 points. Now we will see the uses of potentiometer. Now we are using potentiometer in the lab mainly two purposes. We are using the potentiometer to compare the EMF of two cells, and secondly it is used for finding out the internal resistance of a cell. Now to compare the EMFs of the cell, there are two different methods used. First one is individual testing method, and the second method is the sum and difference method. Now there are some practical applications where potentiometer is used, that is, potentiometer can be used as a voltage divider. So as a voltage divider, potentiometer can be used as a voltage divider to continuously change the output voltage of a voltage supply. For that, the device is connected to the end A, and the other end is connected to the slider of the potentiometer wire, which we will understand in the coming discussions. That is, when we are trying to explain the comparison of EMFs and the internal resistance of the cell, we will explain how the slider is moving and how to find out the balancing length using a potentiometer. So we will be discussing the laboratory uses in detail, and here we are just mentioning the practical applications of potentiometer. One, we have seen it is used as a voltage divider. Second one, it can be used as a motion sensor. When potentiometer is used as a motion sensor, the moving part of the machine is connected to the slider of the potentiometer, and the potentiometer is calibrated in terms of the displacement of the moving part. Now, another practical use of potentiometer can be said as can be used in audio controls. In audio controls, potentiometer can be used for the frequency attenuation, loudness control, and also to control different characteristics of audio signals. Now we will try to explain in detail about the laboratory uses of a potentiometer. The first use, as we have seen, is to compare the EMF of two cells. Now we will try to understand how to compare the EMF of two cells with the help of a potentiometer. And we are following the first method, that is the individual testing method. The circuit diagram is shown in the diagram. Here you can see A and B, that is the two end points of the potentiometer, is connected to a cell, key and a rheostat in series. So this will provide a potential difference across AB of the potentiometer wire. Now, after connecting this, you are taking the two cells E1 and E2 whose EMF we are trying to compare. Now these two cells are connected in such a way that the positive of these two cells are connected to A and negative of both the cells are connected to keys K1 and K2. The other end of the key is connected to the galvanometer and to the jockey. And the slider that I mentioned is the jockey that is connected here. In the previous slide, I mentioned about the slider. Now, here in the circuit, you can close the key K1 or you can close the key K2. First, we will close the key K1. That means the cell E1 is connected in the circuit. Now, after closing the key K1 and keeping the key K2 open, means that only cell E1 is connected in the circuit. Now, after closing the key K1, you will take the slider or the jockey and touch at the point A, and you will see the deflection in the galvanometer. In the galvanometer, the deflection should go to one side of the galvanometer. Then you will touch the jockey or tap the jockey at the point B. Then deflection in the galvanometer should go to the opposite side. After getting the deflection like this, that is tapping at A, deflection should go to one side, and tapping at B, deflection should go to the opposite side. After getting it like that, then it makes it clear that between A and B, there will be a point where the galvanometer will give you zero deflection. So you have to tap the jockey at points from A to B and find out the point where the galvanometer is showing zero deflection. And you will measure the length of the wire where you are getting zero deflection in the galvanometer. So if you are getting the length of the potentiometer wire as L1, then E1, that is EMF of the cell, first cell, that is E1, will be proportional to L1, or it is equal to K into L1. What is K? K is the potential gradient or the potential difference per unit length of the wire. And now again, key K2 is opened and K1 is opened and K2 is closed. Now when K2 is closed, what happens here is cell E1 is disconnected and now cell E2 is connected in the circuit. Then again you have to touch the jockey at A and touch at B, or you can say tap at A and tap at B. Find the deflection in the galvanometer. It should go to one side at A and it should go to the opposite side at the point B. After that, you will find out the point where the galvanometer is showing zero deflection. And if this point, the galvanometer shows zero deflection, or at this point, if galvanometer shows zero deflection, there will be only one point where the galvanometer will be showing zero deflection. And after touching the jockey at that point, note down the length of the wire from A to that point, which is measured as L2. Now, this L2 is balancing the cell E2. So you can say E2 is proportional to L2, or dividing these two equations, you will get E1 divided by E2 is equal to L1 divided by L2. So using this formula, we will be able to compare the EMF of these two cells. And if you know the EMF of one cell, you can find out or you can calculate the other EMF of the other cell. That is how you measure, or actually it is calculating the EMF of the second cell, knowing the EMF of the second cell. Now we will proceed towards the second method of testing, second method for comparing the EMF of two cells. The second method is sum and difference method. We will just understand the circuit first. Here again you can see the point A and the point B, between which there is the potentiometer wire between A and B. We are connecting the cell, key and rheostat in series as in the previous diagram, that is individual testing method. There is no difference for this part of the circuit. It is exactly the same. Now here in the right hand side, you are connecting two cells together. It is not separately connected. It is connected together. So first we will connect the two cells in such a way that both the cells are assisting each other, or you can say it is some method or some position, you can say. That means the negative of the first cell is connected to the positive of the second cell. So that means it is this, both the cells are assisting each other. The EMF will be added together, which is called as the sum position. Sum position. So here, if you see the connection, the first cell positive is connected to A and the second cell is connected to two terminals of the four-way key. This is a four-way key, and here we will be using two keys. Now, if I close this connection, this point and also this point, then using two keys, now you can see the negative of the first cell, that is E1 cell, will be closed like this, and it is connected to the positive of the second cell. Means then from negative it will go here, and from this key is closed, so it will move like this and the circuit will be complete. Okay, so here both the cells are assisting each other. So we have taken the sum position first, that is this key is closed and this key is closed. So you will get E1 plus E2, that is the sum of the EMFs. Now how will you connect it in the difference method? So here you can see the explanation here. Negative of the first cell is connected to the negative of the second cell, or positive of the first cell connected to the positive of the cell. Either of this way, it is opposing each other. The second cell is opposing the first cell. So the EMF will be E1 minus E2 will be the effective EMF when it is opposing each other. So you can do the connection like that by removing the keys from these two positions and putting it here and here. That means from the negative of the first cell, circuit will go like this, connect to the negative of the second cell, and from the positive it will go this way and it will close this because this here key is connected, and to the galvanometer and to the jockey the circuit is complete. Okay, now we will see the formula will be like this. Now what you have to do, first you will close here and here. That means both the cells are assisting each other. Now you will touch the jockey or tap the jockey at A and tap the jockey at B. And see the deflection in the galvanometer is in two opposite directions. After that, you will tap the jockey along the wire and find out the point where the galvanometer shows zero deflection, and measure that length is equal to L1, or you can say E1 plus E2 balances L1, or E1 plus E2 is equal to K into L1. Or it can be also written as E1 plus E2 is proportional to L1. Same way, you will continue with difference position, that is, you are putting the keys in this point and this point. So, both the cells are opposing each other. Again, you tap the key at A and tap the key at B. See that the galvanometer shows deflection in two opposite directions. Then find out the point where the galvanometer is showing zero deflection for the opposing position of the cells, and measure that length as L2. Now you can write E1 minus E2 is equal to K into L2, or it can be E1 minus E2 is proportional to L2. Dividing these two equations, E1 plus E2 divided by E1 minus E2 is equal to L1 by L2. And if you solve this equation using componendo dividendo, you will get E1 by E2 is equal to L1 plus L2 divided by L1 minus L2. So using this formula again, you are comparing the EMFs. And if you know either of this EMF, you can calculate the other one from using the formula. Now the second use of potentiometer in the laboratory is to find out the internal resistance of a cell. We will try to understand the circuit diagram first. Now the point A and the point B, that is the potentiometer wire, is connected to the cell and the key and the rheostat. As you know, this is the basic diagram in all the circuits that we have seen. All the previous two diagrams also, we had the same connection. Now, this cell E1 is the cell whose internal resistance is to be found out. So, that cell is connected and this small r represents the internal resistance of the cell. This is not some external resistance connected. Just for you to understand that resistance is shown here. Now parallel to the cell, a key and a resistance box is connected. In a resistance box, you can take any suitable resistance that you want from this resistance box. Now, after doing these connections, keep the key K1 closed. And keep the key K2 open. When key K2 is open, you know that this resistance box is not connected in the circuit. The cell is only connected with the galvanometer and the jockey. This is just like that individual testing method. One cell is connected to the galvanometer and jockey. Now what you will find out? You will tap the jockey at A, tap the jockey at B. See that the galvanometer shows deflection on both sides. After that, you will find out the point where the galvanometer shows zero deflection and measure that length as L1, which balances the EMF of the cell. So you will write E1 is proportional to L1, or it can be also written as E1 is equal to K into L1. Now the next step is close the key K2. After closing the key, you take a suitable resistance from the resistance box. Now a current flows through this path. So whatever point the galvanometer shows zero deflection on the potentiometer wire is measured as L2. Now what we are getting here will be the potential difference across the resistor. So we will get V is proportional to L2 here, because here the current is flowing through the external resistance. Now dividing these two equations, you will get E1 upon V is equal to L1 by L2. Now considering the loop PQSTP and applying Kirchhoff's law to this loop, you will get E1 is equal to I is the current that is flowing through the circuit, then I into R plus I into R. This is the small r, which is the internal resistance of the cell. Now, what will be the potential difference? V is given by I into R according to Ohm's law. Now, dividing equation 2 by 3, that is E1 upon V, you will get I is common here and here. So you will cancel I, you will get R plus R divided by R. That is equation 4. Now you can compare equation 1 and equation 4. You can see left hand sides of both the equations are the same. So you can equate the right hand sides. So you will get L1 upon L2 is equal to R plus R divided by R. And solving this equation, you will get small r, that is the internal resistance of the cell, is equal to capital R into L1 by L2 minus 1. Solving the equation, you get the final expression for the internal resistance of the cell. Now, while performing the experiment in the lab, you will be taking different resistances in the resistance box so that this value of R will be changing. Accordingly, L2 will be changing. So you will measure the value of L2 for different values of R in the resistance box. That is, by changing the resistances in the resistance box. For example, take the resistance 5 ohm, 10 ohm, 15 ohm, 20 ohm, 20 ohm, 25 ohm, like that from the resistance box, and repeat the experiment so that you will calculate the internal resistance for all different resistances in the resistance box. So you will calculate the final internal resistance as the mean value of all the resistances that you have taken from the resistance box. So that is how you will be able to find out the internal resistance of the cell using potentiometer. Now we will try to see what are the advantages of potentiometer over voltmeter. Voltmeter, you know, voltmeter measures potential difference. Potentiometer also measures potential difference. Now you can see that potentiometer is more sensitive than a voltmeter, because depending on the length of the potentiometer wire, it will be more sensitive. As more length it is having, it will be more and more sensitive. And you know that using voltmeter you can measure only potential difference, but using potentiometer you can measure both the potential difference and the EMF of the cell. And the measurement of potential difference or EMF with the help of a potentiometer will be more accurate than a voltmeter. And if you have a voltmeter whose least count is equal to 0.1 volt, the minimum voltage that you can measure will be only 0.1 volt. But if you are using a potentiometer, you can even measure voltage or the potential difference of the order of 10 to the power minus 6 volt can be measured with the help of potentiometer. So till now we were all discussing about the advantages of potentiometer over voltmeter. So what are the demerits of the potentiometer? Now, over voltmeter, we are finding out that it is not portable like voltmeter. Voltmeter you can just simply carry anywhere that you want, but potentiometer cannot be carried as conveniently as voltmeter. That is one of the demerits. And secondly, you cannot directly measure the potential difference or EMF as we have already discussed. When we are comparing the EMFs and we are substituting the value of E1 to find out the value of E2, or substituting the value of E1 to find out E2. So that means we are not directly measuring the EMF or directly measuring the potential difference. We are using the principle of potentiometer and we are calculating the potential difference or EMF with the help of potentiometer. So with that, we end today's session. Thank you so much for your patient attention, and if you have any doubts, please drop your doubts in the comment section. Thank you once again, and we will stop today.